My name is Belinda Dovson and welcome to our weekly I Ching overview for the week commencing the 8th of June 2020. Well, as we have a look back to last week, what were you completing? What was finished, or the finishing of the finishing? Where was the liminal space that you were being held to as we work with the week? And of course, bang, the shake-up of 51 shock to get us moving into the next cycle. So wonderful. Please share if you've had some meaningful evidential experiences of that. Right, so let's have a look at this week, the 8th of June. Very different energy for us this week. We have this very peaceful and gentle hexagram called 15, Modesty. And this hexagram, if you look at the structure, there's earth on top and there's a mountain below. So if you can imagine a picture, if you take a mountain and you fill up all the empty spaces with earth. And what does it do? It levels everything out. And this speaks to the idea that what was low will be made high, and what's high will be made low. The meek shall inherit the earth. These are the ideas of this idea called modesty. Now, this hexagram speaks about modesty, but we can also put in there the words like humility, balance, cutting of pride. And what this hexagram talks about is that we can unlock power for this week if we bring modesty and we bring humility to the table. Where we are laid flat in the week is where we are boastful, egotistical, loud, and we're saying things for the sake of saying things and they're not meaningful and purposeful. So it's almost like with this hexagram, we want to filter out lots of noise and we want to only say the things that are true and say the things that are meaningful. And you've met a person, I'm sure you have, where they say little, but when they speak, there's this like, oh, you've got to pay attention, like you're drawn into the depth and kind of the sparseness of their communication. And then you've also met the opposite. There's just lots of noise, and what do they say? Empty vessels make the most noise. And when you have lots of yak, what tends to happen is that you don't really hear what the person is saying because there's so much information, it's so noisy, and it doesn't resonate, and so you just shut down. I'll just wait till they stop speaking. So what we want to do in this week, what the I Ching is asking us to bring to the table and to focus on this week is modesty and humility. Bring your simple offering, bring your state of gratitude, bring your simple, humble self, simple instruments to the table. This is not about being fancy, overdoing things, simplicity. Balance, cut off excess, cut off the noise, cut off the rah-rah. Just be true and clean and simple and to the point. So this week there are 2 changing lines in the 2nd position and in the 6th position. And one of the things about this hexagram is that all 6 changing lines are positive energies. And maybe that's an indication of the reverence we should have for modesty and humility. Perhaps we should be doing a gratitude journal this week. Just being present with the blessings that are in our life and being humble and being grateful for everything we have. Maybe that's a great idea. But changing line 2 says you call out your power and your modesty and your meaning, your inner meaning calls out like an animal calls out to others to communicate and to call help and response. So there's a sense here that even if you aren't aware of it, just because you're going about your thing and you're doing your thing and you're just focusing on what's important in your life, you're emitting a signal. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Okay, and that signal, people look up and they're like, oh, I need some of that. And there's this energy of resonating with people, right? So what I'd like you to pay attention to is all the areas where you feel like you need to bash the pots, where I'm getting attention, or how I do things, how I get my way, or how I get somewhere is by just shouting louder than the person next to me. Where am I filling lots of noise and lots of speaking with nothing, just banging of pots, right? And where can I get back to the simple things, the essence of what it is I'm trying to do and who I am? Cut away all the pride, all the ego, all that noise, and just stay true. Because by doing that, without having to force the issue, bloop, our signal is going out and resonating with people. So we don't have to force a message on them. This is your business. We don't have to force a message down their throats. Be true, be simple, be real. Stay focused on your simple offering, and bloop, the resonance happens without you even realizing that that is what happened. And perhaps you're going to see that if you've been focusing over the last few months on being modest and humble and focusing on just bringing your simple gifts to the world, bloop, the resonance comes and you start to see that. If you've been loud and noisy and filling the air with lots of without substance, maybe you're going to hear silence. The harder you try to push to make a resonance, silence. Then in our sixth position, our changing line in the sixth position says that our deep and meaningful purpose deeply now resonates and mobilizes people towards you. And our task with this line is to realize that modesty and humility does not mean that we become a walk mat for somebody else's purpose. Modesty and humility means that within our strengths, within what we can do, we still muscle up and we still gather the troops and we fight for what's right. Okay? So this week there's a sense of finding peace in your humility and in your simple offering, what you're here to do, but to seize the capital, as this changing line talks about. Seize the capital. Take on the challenge. Be brave to tackle change and to tackle a brand new endeavor in your life. And so this changing line is saying you have a very powerful purpose that is resonating deeply with others. Use that to mobilize your troops and to attack the capital. It is a symbolic story. Please don't attack any capital. Okay, so what we are being asked to do is to recognize that modesty doesn't mean weakness. Okay, and separating perhaps the relationship we have with those two things. The loudest one in the room is not necessarily the strongest. And our outcome for this week is Hexagram 18. Work on what has been spoiled or corruption. And this hexagram is sorting out the weeds in the garden. We have worked with it quite a few times before, especially right at the beginning of this channel, right a year ago. And this hexagram talks about something has crept in, something of the past, something that is historic, something from an authority figure has come and corrupted the garden. Weeds in the garden. And the task is to put in the effort and the energy to weed the garden. This is not it's going to get it sorted by itself. No, there's effort. Whether your paperwork's in disarray, if your house is untidy, if there's things you can throw away that are causing like stuck energy around you because they're old stuff you haven't decided on, maybe procrastinating. Marie Kondo, let's bring her in. It's that kind of thing of tackling wherever the corruption is. Now, particularly in a business where this might present itself is in old processes, old ways of doing things, old decisions that now come to haunt you. There's the opportunity in this week to tackle those, to get rid of them, and to really be energetic in how we pull the weeds out, things that are weeds. And you might find that in your team, there is a weed. That might be a person, that might be a project, a client, a process, a decision. Tackle the weeds. Okay, now is the time. Put in the effort, get the garden sorted, because we're getting ready for the next phase of growth. So there's work to be done. We're going to be sweating in the sun, weeding out the garden, whatever that means for you. For you, it might be that there is inner work required, because this work on what's been spoiled can also be stuff that we have accumulated from our ancestry, from our parents, old weird ideas that our parents felt were true, that we're now living with on a day-to-day basis and now corrupting the garden or filling the garden with weeds. So I would really encourage you to not just look in your life and look in your business for these weeds, but also look internally and see where might I be sitting with old beliefs, old stuff that I can now finally pull out. Be vigorous. Clear out the clutter. Well, what an interesting week. Modesty, seizing the capital, clearing out. Lots of energy, but an interesting, more subtle energy for this week than last week. Wishing you an amazing week. And remember, of course, to go and enter the monthly giveaway. The link below this episode will have all the links you need to go and find the giveaway. Go find the I Ching meditations on the Insight Timer and all the different resources to go and find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for our daily stories. Thank you so much, and I look forward to connecting with you again. See you soon.